It's 5:01, call the meeting to order. We acknowledge we are gathered on Treaty 1 and Treaty 2 territories, and Manitoba is located on the treaty territories and ancestral lands of Anishinaabe, Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Dakota, Oyote, Nisilen, Ojibwe, and Nehetalia. We acknowledge Manitoba is located on the homeland of the Red River Métis. We respect the spirit and intent of treaties and treaty making, and remain committed to working in partnership with First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people in the spirit of truth, reconciliation, and collaboration. Be it resolved that the minutes of the October 21st, 2025 regular meeting of council be approved as circulated and posted. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question, all in favor? And that's carried. Be resolved that the agenda be adopted as presented. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Reception of public hearing. Okay. Be resolved the meeting be recessed for a scheduled public hearing for the following matter, a variance order -013-25-C. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, second by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Where is the...
Oh,
4.1.1. Okay, there we go. The purpose of the public hearing is to receive representations from the applicant and any persons who wish to make them. We will first hear from the applicant, then from those present who wish to make representation, starting with anybody who wants to speak in favor of the proposal. At the end of the other presentations, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond. At the end of each presentation, the members of council may ask for clarification from the speaker on any fact or issue, but will not enter into a debate. Persons speaking must address the chair. If they have questions that they think the applicant should answer, they should raise them in their presentation to the chair. The applicant will have an opportunity to respond to questions when the other presentations are finished. This is also not the time to question the members of council under the Planning Act. The purpose of the public hearing is for the council to receive representations, and a discussion or argument involving members of council is inappropriate. There should be no interruptions while a person is making a presentation, and order must be maintained. All right. So 4.1.3. Is the applicant here? Would you like to come forward, state your name, please, and make your presentation? Thank you.
I'm Dr. Muhammad Abidullah, representing London Islamic Center, charitable organization that I'm secretary there, and I'm also the property owner. We have submitted an application for reduction of the front yard side requirement from 125 to 50 feet. And the proposed site has been approved by the Arm of Cornwallis through resolution on September 2nd, 2025, to build a place of worship and community center on that one. So with the, what you call it, the reduction of the front yard side requirement from 125 to 50 feet in the fringe area. This is properties in the fringe area recognized by the city of Brandon as well as the Arm of Cornwallis. The organization will have a better, what we call it, chance of building a building that suits their needs. Property, like water property, the building needs are like property, and this will be what we call it in accordance with the Planning Act, which says better use of the land resources. So if you reduce it from 125 to 50 feet, according to the Planning Act, we will have a more chance of opportunity of building it, less of worship in community center. The land will be used more appropriately. That's all.
I'm sorry, what was your name?
My name is Samantha Pascal Ahmed, and I am on the board of the BIC.
Okay. All right, does anybody on council have any questions for Dr. Abdullah at this time? No, I do have a couple of questions for you, Dr. Abdullah. In your application, you specifically talked about basketball courts being indoor, like an indoor facility for the basketball courts. So, and the way that they are on that drawing, they appear to be outdoor. I know that's not a finished drawing, but you talked just now about a place of worship and a community center. So would the basketball courts be inside the community center, or is that a separate building?
It's very preliminary. So we're going to have design it in a way, and that's for the discussion. Like even if we follow up on the previous council resolution about the conditional use application, we have not entered into any development agreement with the owner. And to be honest with you, none of us have any clue how does it proceed.
Gotcha.
So we need to work on that one. Just a comment other than this one. This is a project that will benefit the whole community, and the members of the community, they are immigrants. They don't know much about the system here. So we really appreciate if the council and the arm of Cornwallis administration can reach out to us, and we meet and we discuss it properly. We take it further. So at this time, this is very preliminary drawings. And as mentioned before, I cannot comment at this time specifically how the drawings would look like. Once we have the detailed discussion, only then I should be able to comment on that one. And we need some guidance as well from the arm of Cornwallis, the council, and the administration to move forward on that one. So I cannot comment on that one, whether it's going to be the part of the community center, how it would look like. It's all very preliminary, but at this time, all I can say, if we have a reduction in the front yard site requirement, like it is reduced from 125 to 50 feet, we'll be better able to build and design a building that will meet the needs of the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like you, being familiar or not necessarily familiar with, but knowing how to proceed. I'm not a professional planner myself, so I rely on people in the Keystone Planning District to educate me on how to proceed as well. And we have a team of lawyers and that we rely on as well to help us, and engineers as well. So, all right. No other questions from council at this time? All right. Well,
Have you made any, like, have you done the traffic study or
Not at this
the water and sewer
Not
looked
at
at?
this time. The water and sewer, we've been in touch with the Keystone Planning District, and they suggested we speak to the province about that one. And they give me some information. I did speak to the province, and there was like, say, the requirements for the front yard, from the front line, from the side yard, how much should be the distance of the well, how much should be the distance between the well and the septic tank and the field. So they give us some preliminary idea on that one. We have that one in here. But unless we know where we're going to put the building, right? So, and that depends on this resolution, if it is approved, if we're moving the building for the north and to the east, north into the west, for example, then we can plan, and if we have the engineer involved and we do the study for the city, we have to do some drilling to see where the well is, where the water is, where we can put the septic tank. So when we have this resolution, if approved, we can have a better idea. And then we can go to the engineering firms and see where to put all those things in there.
okay. Yeah, we're good for now then. Is there anybody else present who would like to speak in favor of the application? Okay, is there anybody present who would like to speak against the application? No? Okay, yeah, you can have a seat. So Dr. Abidullah, because we have additional questions as well that we need to seek advice on. I'm not going to I'm not going to close the public hearing at this time. I'm going to keep it open. I'm going to adjourn it so we can gather more information about this so we can make the best decision.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
And we're going to ask these questions from whom? Is it addressed to the city or is it addressed to?
Yeah, we've got to confer with the city, our engineer, and our lawyer before we can make a decision on this variation.
All right. Can I make a couple of more comments?
Sure.
All right. So if we speak to the city, for instance, we refer to the City of Brandon zoning bylaws. Let me see what I have here. I did take a photograph today of that. So let's see. So if we can pull up, for instance, the City of Brandon zoning bylaws, and we go to the page number 88 on that one. And that is about the education institutional, what you call it, organizations, the setback requirements for that one. So our whole project and the zoning bylaw, if we can have access to the internet now, if you type in zoning bylaw number 7124, that is, what you call it, updated on July 9, 2024 by City of Brandon.
Yeah.
And if we refer to our entire project is just compatible with the EI zoning, education institutional zoning, place of worship, education institutional, and they have a table there as well on that one. For example, the community center is education institutional. A school, for instance, or a daycare, they fall under that one. So the setback requirement for the front for these buildings, according to the City of Brandon, is 0.3 meters, not even 1 meter. So I hope the city would take that into consideration when they reach out to you. So 0.3 meter, that is for their setback for education institutions, organizations in the process of life, they would have it. If we go towards the, what we call it, to the northwest corner of First Street and Patricia Avenue, so that would be the northwest corner, and we look at the houses here, and you can draw, like the City of Brandon can give you an idea about that one. The distance of the house, I don't want to name any, what you call it, house number or anything, but I can give you the drawings in here. And the site of that one is 9.96 meters from the whole place. So I can give you this one. If you look at this house, for example, at the northwest intersection of First and Patricia, and the distance of this one. No, that's a different book. Sorry. This one here. So that's the house. That's the First Street. That's the Patricia. And that's the distance from the, what you call it, the setback.
Thank you.
The reason I bring it up, I think it is something new for all of Cornwallis. Like when our conditional use application was approved, there were a few things which were just suggestions from the City of Brandon. That was not a recommendation by the City of Brandon. And the suggestion was to have active transportation study. And they put three conditions. One was the water. We didn't argue on that one. The second one was what we call it, traffic impact analysis. Yes, that has to be done. If you say no, that's bad on our part, we have to do that.
Yeah.
But the third thing they mentioned was the active transportation. And once we heard that in the meeting in here, that was on August 12th. The voting was done on September 2nd. And the discussion was done, public hearing was scheduled for August 12th. And day after, or 2 days after, I came and met with the, what you call it, the arm of Cornwall's front desk. And we gave over some sort of reservations about the inclusion of the active transportation in that one. And we give the examples of two businesses, not houses or not what you call it education institution, but businesses at the intersection of 34th Street and Petrusha Avenue. One is at the southwest intersection of Petrusha and 34th Street. That's a arena there. And when we looked at it, and I provided the written document to the Keystone Planning District, and she made a copy. She I'm going to give it to our inspector as well. Not sure if she shared with Ms. Holycrest, or the administrator, or no, I don't know about that one. She can confirm or decline that one. But I handed over to her, and we said, if you look at I gave the reference from their website, from the J&J area, capacity for 800 people. 800 people. And if you look at the alternative landscaping, that is at the southeastern section of 34 and Petrusha Avenue, they have employees of about, I don't want to make, I think 1,000 people, something like that. And their, what you call it, traffic is not just the regular vehicle like the low weight vehicle. They include the semis and trucks and coming in there. And the question I asked, I discussed with them, is there any precedence of active transportation in the arm of Cornwallis for businesses and organizations much more bigger than this project that we have? And there was a bit of miscalculation on our part. We thought the meeting would be discussed scheduled for September 9th, not the 2nd. Because the other one was 2nd, August 12th, that was the second Tuesday. So if you go by the second Tuesday, it would be September 9th. And we're just working on it, but we had the preliminary draft handed over to the Keystone Planning District. What I want to make the point in here, we expect some sort of facilitation by the municipal organization, the owners, as well as the city of Brandon. Do we have some reservations about the city of Brandon? Yes. We're not going to discuss that one here, but we hope we will be treated fairly and with good intent.
Definitely. I appreciate that.
Do you have a number on your capacity? You talked about capacity of those. Do we know what the capacity is?
Of what?
Like how many people would you expect in the mosque?
Okay. If you say, so when you go into a building, so this is the boardroom in here, okay? It has a certain capacity, okay? But you have the washrooms, you have, say, for instance, a kitchen, you have a place, say, an office there, a boardroom there, for example. So we're planning on having, it's a rough idea, we're going to have a place of worship. The hall itself, where we pray, about 5,000 square feet, okay? And just to give you an idea about the Islamic Center, the way we pray, like if you compare with the church, for the church, they have the benches and the chairs. We don't have benches and the chairs. Okay? And we don't pray like this. And I would invite all of you, feel free to stop by the Islamic Center to see how we pray, what we do. So if I can demonstrate, we stand up, we go and kneel, and then we kneel down, okay? So if we have a 3 feet here, another person is standing next to me in 3 feet, for example, and I have to bow down and my head is going to be there on the floor, I would say 6 by 3 is 18 square foot per person. All right. So if I take 5,000 square feet, for instance, and I divide it by 18, we're looking at about 277 people for the Islamic Center. And that's the
Right now, you guys are on 10th Street, right?
11th Street.
Yeah, so you're not fitting 277 people into there.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So that we want to expand.
Yeah.
And that's the reason for that.
Yeah.
And the option that building stays there potential, I'm not going to commit anything at this time, but if we have that building and get this building, there could be split of the congregation as well.
Gotcha.
So somebody can go to that one, somebody can go to this one, and that will be, yeah.
Okay.
So, did I answer?
No, that helps because I didn't know if we're talking 20 people or 200 people or 2,000 people. So,
And it's very preliminary. So we have 277 people, for instance, and we have a kitchen next to it, we have the toilets for the men, and then for the women, for example. We have a boardroom there, all right? So that's up, plus if you have the community center kicking in, there, different from the, there's a portion, right? So we'll see how it works out. Say if you give an example, say if you go to the North United Church, they have a place of worship in there, where you have the benches and everything. And then they have the sports facility, that's the basketball court that is on the second floor. I'm not sure if anyone of you have been there or not. Yeah. So it's not something new, it's not a new idea. It is present in the city of Brandon. And I can take you on a tour over there. If somebody wants to have a tour at the North United Church, we can go and have a look in there.
Yeah, Holly, you asked a question about capacity. Can I ask a question about frequency of use?
sure.
I'm just wondering how many days out of the week?
7 days a week. Okay, we use it. But the biggest congregation that we have the issue with is the Friday prayer. Okay, so on Friday we have two congregations. So we have one congregation, about 130, 140 people coming in, and they leave. And then we have the second congregation. So the timing, our peak hours, any given day of the week, not any given day, only on Friday of the week, only on Friday, is say in winter 1 o'clock. Okay, and then the second congregation, the people are much lower than the first congregation. So 40, 50, 60 people they show.
Gotcha.
That is so that one is set for 2 o'clock in winter. In summer, the first congregation is set for 2 o'clock, and the second one is set for 3 o'clock. Other than that, we have maybe 10, 15, 20 people.
Yeah, all that's gonna come out in the traffic study anyway,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Yeah.
okay. You answered my question. Does anybody have any other?
No, the only thing I'd like to say is just to make sure that, like you said, you're not familiar with the way everything works. And I don't know if you're a planner. Are you a professional planner or?
Oh, no, I'm the board of VICs, yeah. So-
She's a physiotherapist.
I would definitely get some recommendations from a professional planner to help you along. And make sure you closely work with KPD for sure, as well as the CAO. Because we want the project to go through, we do. But of course, we want them to be proper, and we don't want the city of Brandon to be mad at us either. We don't want them to have, we need their help as much as you do it. So
Yeah.
that's all I need to, just to make
Yeah.
sure we all work
Let's
together.
face facts here that one day you guys are gonna be within the city.
It's pretty close already.
Yeah. So, yeah. All right, any other questions? Okay. So, be it resolved that the public hearing is hereby adjourned to December 16th, so we'll make a decision on the 16th of December, 2025, at 5:30 PM, and we will now return to the regular meeting. Motion by Councilor Maxwell, seconded by Councilor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor? So we're not making the decision tonight.
It's just,
We're gonna think about everything, review it, talk about it, and make our decision on this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody have reports of committees? Well, I do. I was at the Brandon Salutes Committee meeting just recently, and we talked about, this is the first committee meeting in a number of years between Cornwallis, City of Brandon, and the base, Shiloh, and we talked about establishing a kind of like a welcome package for new residents that come into the base just to show them about our services and what we have here in Cornwallis in terms of what businesses are available to them. If a business wants to give a discount, that's up to them, that type of thing. But it's a package that we give to the base and they give to the new residents as well. We should probably pass the message along to Oakland Wawanesa because when I was in the military, I found Oakland Wawanesa was a hidden gem on the prairie here, and that's where I chose to live actually for a number of years. But City of Brandon is going to be creating these packages. Shiloh is going to be creating the packages. We should create a package that complements or augments and have our information included in it as well. So that's that.
Chamber of Commerce involved?
Yeah, it's part of the chamber. It's part of the Chamber of Commerce. All right, so be it resolved that the verbal reports of committees be received as presented. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. No petitions, reception of communications. Be it resolved that council accepts the communications as presented. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay. Be it resolved that the payroll accounts be approved for payment as follows. Direct deposit payroll of October 30th, 2025, $20,676.88 for a total of $20,676.88. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Be it resolved that council approve the list of accounts for expenses and checks numbered 13137 to 13194 and online banking for a total amount of $2,705,377.36. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Yeah, we paid our school tax to the city of Brandon. Call for the question. All in favor? Carried. Be resolved that the unaudited financials for the month of October 2025 be accepted as presented. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Be it resolved that the October 2025 bank reconciliation for the general reserves and utility accounts be accepted as presented. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. Okay, are we on 8.4? 8.5? Yeah, 8.5. Be resolved the following 2025 reserve dollar transfers be authorized. The reserve is the general reserve. It's for the police car accessories, transferring $31,888.31. Budgeted is $50,000. Aggregate for the water truck, $140,000. Budget is $140,000. Equipment, water truck, $60,000. Budget $60,000. Equipment wood chipper, $18,500. Budget is $20,000. Equipment snowing, $22,791. Budget is $33,866. Infrastructure, transfer station upgrade, $7,500. Budget is $10,000. And finally, gas tax, the High Clay Road Project, $217,317.16. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question. All in favor? That's carried. Number 9.1. Be it resolved, bylaw 1743-08-2025, being a bylaw to govern the organization of the rural municipality of Cornwallis and the committees thereof, be hereby read a second time. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Any discussion on this?
I think we beat it up at committee.
Yeah, we just, we formalized our committees, and made a few changes to them. I'll call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried. It resolved that bylaw 1743-08-2025, being a bylaw to govern the organization of the rural municipality of Cornwallis and the committees thereof, be hereby read a third and final time. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried.
Thank you, Holly.
Okay. Gotta get a drink of water for this one. Whereas the permanent CAO hired in April 2023 resigned in the fall of 2023, and whereas a temporary CAO was then hired but resigned at the end of 2023, thus another interim CAO, the 7th, Holly Crisco, was hired in January 2024. And whereas council contracted People First HR Services for CAO recruitment, but People First placed a hold on the recruitment until resolution of the Code of Conduct complaints. And whereas Reeve Hofer was disqualified, sanctioned for the Code of Conduct violations, appealed the sanctions, and then resigned in April 2025. And whereas council resumed the search for a permanent CAO with People First in May of 2025. And whereas several qualified candidates have been reviewed by People First and interviewed by council, therefore be it resolved that Terry Scaife be hired as the Chief Administration Officer effective November 24th, 2025, be it further resolved that the acting Reeve and the interim CAO be hereby authorized to sign the employment agreement with Terry Scaife, and be it further resolved that the interim CAO, Holly Crisco, remain to provide the necessary support and guidance, update ongoing files, and assist for a transition period. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Maxwell. Any discussion?
I think it's a good opportunity to thank Holly for getting us where we got to, and I'd like to do that myself as the head of the personnel committee, and we've appreciated it. The long, arduous effort, much longer than you agreed to come
Yes,
and work with us.
you've had a good 3 months, and we're really happy that you stayed on for the 3 months that you
It's
said you were
only
going to
3
stay.
months gone by. Thank you.
It was my pleasure.
All right. Call for the question. All in favor? And that's carried.
And this was just a long resolution to show that it's been a long road and we really have been working towards this.
Yes, we have. Be it resolved that council confirm its decision, resolution number 2025-273, to close the bridge on Road 102 West over the Little Souris River north of Road 49 North at the northern terminus of Road 102 West, and direct the CAO to respond to Neil Chapman's request and deny to reconsider the decision. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Brown. Any discussion? This bridge was over 100 years old, and nobody uses that bridge. And to replace a bridge would cost over $1 million. Call for the question. All in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that council approve Oakland Wallanese's property owner Martin and Elena Dupuy request for reimbursement for driveway damage from the 2022 flood.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Councillor Maxwell,
I'll second the motion.
seconded by Councillor Brown. Discussion?
I'm making the motion so that we can be clear that I will be voting against the motion. This is way late. State of local emergency declared in 2022. All costs that were reasonably brought forward to council were approved, and DFA covered the cost. DFA is our insurance, and our insurance paid for it. We paid for premium, they paid the costs, but you can't keep going to your insurance company once the job's been settled. So this is not only late, but I don't see an amounting. I guess maybe you have something, but in my mind, way too little, too late. And it should have been brought forward long before this, like in 2022.
Anybody else?
Yeah, no, I agree with Councillor Maxwell that it's kind of late, and if I recall, I think there was some flooding damage maybe prior to when the water was let loose out of Clementi's, so.
It was a wet year all around, that's for sure, yeah. Call for the question, all in favor? Opposed? That's defeated. Whereas an offer to purchase municipally owned property was presented to council, and per the land sale policy, the CAO requested quotes for an independent appraisal of part of 3500 Richmond Avenue. Therefore, be it resolved that council accept the quote from Jordan Appraisal Group. Motion by Councillor Brown, seconded by Councillor Drohan. Any discussion on that?
I have some. I've already asked the CAO whether we've been paid for the fill. Now, the deal was we sold Phil. Oh, sorry, Phil, that's his name too. No, well, anyways, okay, so we sold Phil for this property to be built up. And when we met with them, the deal was, you gotta pay us. We had an amount, there was some discrepancy. Our engineers have come back and said they stand by their numbers, so I'm okay with us setting up an appraiser, but I'm not okay with us doing it until we get our money paid for the fill that we sold, right? So that's what, I'm willing to accept the appraiser as chosen, but I don't want the work done until we get our, that was the deal when they left. They said they would negotiate and pay us, and as far as I know, we've got nothing.
So are you suggesting a friendly amendment then, that's,
Well, we don't start the work. I mean, I'm accepting the appraiser, yeah, I mean, I would say we will accept the appraisal group that chose it, but I don't want to do the work until the first steps been made that we could get paid.
On the condition that the invoice
Yeah.
payment has been received?
That would be fine. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? You're gonna update it so we can look.
You got to,
Yeah, I'm fine with it, so,
Fill material invoice payment has been received?
so will we have to have a a vote on the amendment, I guess.
All right, so I'll read it again. Whereas an offer to purchase municipally owned property was presented to council, and per the land sale policy, the CAO requested quotes for an independent appraisal of part of 3500 Richmond Avenue. Therefore, be it resolved that council accept the quote from Jordan Appraisal Group on the condition that the invoice payment has been received. That's, well, we're still accepting the appraisal, but we're not gonna do the appraisal until the invoice has been received.
From, what's the company, Excel?
No. Oh,
Isn't that his company? That's,
Yeah.
we're waiting for Excel to pay us.
Excel, Greenstone.
Yeah, is that what it, I don't even know who it is. Which company it is.
I think we just did it in Dorn.
Yeah.
I don't think it was a company.
so you motion that. Are you okay with that amendment?
Yeah, no, I support it.
So we vote on the amendment?
So call for the question on the amendment?
Yeah.
All in favor? Okay. So now call for the question on the motion. All in favor? And that's carried. Uh-oh, we're locked in.
Yeah, really.
Sorry about that.
Okay. 11.1. Just as a point of administration for counselors, we've got our statement of assets. Make sure you guys see the CAO if you haven't already signed your statement of assets. And conflict of interest.
You missed one, Terry, 10.5.
10.5.
Oh,
That's just for
Oh.
information. It's gonna go to committee.
Okay.
Be it resolved that council accept the proposal from Mark Holden for weed inspector services for a 3-year term, 2026, 2028, at the same rate.
make a
I
note.
think it's the same rates, great.
Yes, motion by Councillor Dronan, second by Councillor Maxwell. Any discussion on that?
Oh, it's not give us the same rate.
My only question is, does that include mileage? Is that, because mileage is usually variable.
Yeah, he has yeah,
Okay,
That's a legislative requirement to have a meeting for that.
totally.
Yep.
Yeah.
call for the question, all in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that the municipality accepts the updated 911 services agreement schedule A outlining the 2025 fees at a per capita rate of $5.23. So last year it was $5.05 times 4,568 residents equals 23,068.40. This year is $5.23 times 4,568 equals $23,890.64.
I just have that there for information. That's
Sure, I mean,
Yeah.
it's good for folks to know. Motion by Councillor Brown, second by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question, all in favor? That's carried. Oh, do we have a date for that one, Holly?
I do not. Yeah. I thought that maybe we could get together and figure out a date, maybe just
Okay, we'll put that
a
one-
December date, like,
We'll put that one down the committee as well.
yeah, like we had to do it and now I'm just suggesting that the new CEO and once the Reeve is elected, that they be included in this.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of hard to determine a date, a date in December, maybe.
So what that's about is, as part of the ombudsman's recommendations, they recommended that council receive additional training from the MSOs. And so we need to coordinate that with the MSO for a date in December for council and the new Reeve to get that training.
And after they recommended this, I did reach out to them. They just haven't got back to me. And I reached out again and now they did get back to me. So I just changed it and we can agree to meet sometime in December.
So you need a resolution just with the variable date, December.
Approve the date in December.
Okay. we'll do
Yeah.
that then.
Yeah.
All right, so be it resolved that council approved to meet in December 2025 with the new CAO and the Reeve for the training on responsibilities under section 883 1D of the Municipal Act from Manitoba Municipal and Northern Relations per the Ombudsman's recommendation. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question, all in favor? And that's carried. So date to be determined.
Yeah, in December though.
Be resolved that council approve the 3-year fire protection services agreement.
You're gonna table that.
Pardon me?
You're gonna table it, you're gonna read it out anyway?
Oh. Well, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Okay, we will table that.
There was supposed to be an agreement in front of us, but
Gotcha.
he just emailed me today, so it's not available yet. So
Gotcha. Yeah, we've been working with the Brandon Fire Services to update our agreement. And we met with them once or twice. There's a few correspondences back and forth, and they just haven't been able to formalize anything yet. So we'll wait for them to get back to us on that. Okay, whereas the grant application to Brandon Area Community Foundation for the Brandon Hills Ball Diamond has been approved for $5,700. Be it resolved that the CAO be hereby authorized to sign the Brandon Area Community Foundation agreement on behalf of the municipality. Motion by Councillor Drohan, seconded by Councillor Brown. Anybody have any comments about that?
Well, it's just nice that they got awarded the grant. So
Yeah,
it'll definitely help.
right on, right on. That's for a new backstop, I believe, right?
I think so.
Call for the question, all in favor? And that's carried. Be it resolved that the municipal emergency coordinator and CAO be hereby authorized to attend the Disaster Management Conference 2026 to be held in Winnipeg on January 28th to 30th, 2026. Further resolved that all applicable registration and expenses for the coordinator be authorized and shared with Oakland Wawanesa in accordance with the agreement. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, seconded by Councillor Brown. Call for the question, all in favor? That's carried. I'd like to take 11.8 in camera. You guys okay with that?
Sure.
Be it resolved that per the recommendation of the Personnel Committee, the interim CAO contract be amended to include an additional 2 weeks annual vacation accrual. Motion by Councillor Maxwell, second by Councillor Drohan. Call for question, all in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that in accordance with the Municipal Act, Section 152.3, Council does hereby close the meeting to the public and move in camera at 5:52 PM to discuss personnel, a matter that is in preliminary stages and respecting which discussion and public could prejudice municipality's ability to carry out its activities or negotiations, and be further resolved that council agrees to keep in confidence all matters discussed at this closed session. Motion by Councillor Brown, second by Councillor Drohan. Call for the question, all in favor? Carried. We are in cameras.
Yes, I do. No, you're not. You're stuck here. Go out.